We are just 1 month away from the grand final, and there are still places left to claim for the final race. Now, it is make or break for the drivers in both competitions. So who today will be booking their spots to Laguna Seca? Well, we'll find out today for round 10 of the Simify MX5 World Sim Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hello everyone, I am Craig King, and with me in the booth is Mike Nels. Behind the scenes is our director, Daniel Costello, and he will be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We kick off the night with the Club Cup at the Nordic Hills of Rudskogen. So let's take a dive into the GSRC track guide for more information of this track.
Welcome to Rudskogen Motor Center. Located about an hour and a half south of Norway's capital of Oslo, the southerly placement allows for a much longer racing season than you'd expect in a Scandinavian country. At just over 2 miles, or 3¼ kilometers in length, the 14-turn track makes for a perfect lower to mid-level racing circuit. A nice amount of elevation change and some truly picturesque scenery makes it not hard on the eyes for fans, but retains a delicious amount of challenges for drivers. There's of course the obvious places for passes, such as into the sharp chicane of turns 1 and 2. But in spite of the long downhill stretch into 3, it's way too fast of a corner to try and overtake unless you're seriously brave. 7 and 8 include a frustrating triple apex sequence that rises, drops, and then rises again, all within what effectively becomes a single corner. There's also the tricky combination of 13's swift entry, then a seemingly never-ending final right-hander to dump you onto the main straight. With it being part of iRacing's base content, drivers are likely to get plenty familiar with this track, and they'll need to thanks to the very technical layout. But overall, it's easy to see why this is a popular destination for all Norwegian motorsports fans.
Well, that was Joe giving us the track guide around here today. Mike, this is a track in Norway, as we did say. What are they expecting to see around here for the Mazdas today?
Yeah, this is a bit of a different circuit out there. Rudskogen Motor Center in the middle of Norway. It is Norway's oldest permanent race circuit, and at 2 miles or 3.2 kilometers with 14 corners for these drivers to tackle, it's going to be a bit of a crazy slipstream fest. A lot of overtakes down into that first left-hander, as well as the back sweeping spoon. Into the S's, the drivers are going to have to be on their best behavior, and of course, the hairpin of, well, we'll find out, to be completely honest. And then everything else about this track is sweeping, flowing, fast, and overall just a great time for these MX5s.
Yeah, saw some drivers losing grip out there earlier in practice. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the race. But as I said, it's round 10, the final race of the season before the grand final. And Christian Veserov is leading the championship, as you can see. A commanding lead over Luis Suarez, as well as Lawrence de Odin, with Tom Weston in 4th and Sandoval in 5th. Mikael Elliott will be 6th, with Rene Ziegler 7th, and Thomas Martinez will be 8th. Eric Quirios will be 9th, and Carlos Horn 10th. Very close, trying to get into that top 10, but remember the top 20 will get their automatic qualification for the World Cup, well, for the Club Cup. But of course, there's also the Nations Club Cup as well, Mike.
Yes, the Nations Cup here is very close as well. As we can see, leading it off is the Netherlands, 58 points ahead of Brazil right now. The United Kingdom sneaking in 105 points behind, with a singular point separating them and Spain. Bulgaria coming in 5th right now, with Portugal in 6th. South Africa 7th, with Finland in 8th. USA in 9th, and down in 10th position is going to be Canada.
Yep, still a lot to play for. And there is also the Team Championship, which we have the SDC Spirit 14 Racing, leading the charge. Negative Delta by Rulers in P2, and that positive Delta, just the opposite there, just behind them. Free Wide Racing is in 4th, with Turismo Racing in 4th. Sweat will be 6th. 1P will take 7th. Rosso Esports will be 8th, and GTD Racing 9th. And the organization is there in 10th position for the day. And those are the 3 championships still out there today. Let's get a quick rundown, though, of what we're going to have around here for the first race. So we're going to have a quick look at that. 25 minutes just to let people know this is a fixed setup. There is a spare car, but we're qualifying just getting ready to tick over. It's going to be very close at the top. It's a very tight field, and this grid start, especially down to turn 1, Mike, is going to be very important.
Yeah, it certainly is. These drivers have been absolutely at each other's throats these past few races, and with the likes of Eric Quiros taking the win last week with Tom Weston behind Lawrence Denouden as well. Armin Schlomer is a driver who I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Of course, Christian Bisserov, the man who was leading this championship on into this night.
Yep. As we get ready, I want to give a shout out, of course, to Simify, who is sponsoring the series. And if you need a little help with your racing and you need some more gear, feel free to see the link in the description of the broadcast here for a link to get some discount for your hardware. Qualifying is just ticking over, and the checkered flag is over for the 10 minutes. And it will be Lawrence de Oden who will lead them away. Thomas Martinez will be second, and you'll see in a moment just how close it is between the two. Eric Quiros will be third, and Kristen Bisserov is in fourth, with Luis Suarez in fifth. Andre Luigi will be sixth. Yael Schubert will be seventh. Renee Segler, eighth. David Geddes will be ninth, and Martin Smith will be 10th.
Yeah, moving on to row 6 or 11th position for the grid tonight. Anton Semenov is going to be taking that with Sergio Duarte alongside Alman Bacchus in 13th position with Armin Schlomer in 14th. Alvo Rodriguez 15th here tonight with Mackenzie Mann alongside in row 8 for 16th position. Down in row 9 here, 17th belonging to Leon Vorters alongside Tom Weston. A little out of place here for qualifying for Tom, behind Bruno Lisboa in 19th, with Bruno Albino rounding out your top 20.
Just 3 more drivers out there. Kalle Ratanair and David Mitchell, Wurt Bertels, all at the back, not setting a time. It's going to be 23 cars around here today. Just waiting for a few more to grid up on the field. Track temp of 78 Fahrenheit today. That is going to be 26 Celsius. Shouldn't be too much of an issue around here. Wind will play a little bit of a factor out there today. Well, not really, because there's none. That's going to be all important for the drivers, because these cars, they do rely a little bit on not having that wind in their face or in the side. Especially with these cars, you go hell-bent for leather on the throttle, but unfortunately, you can lose the rear out there. 25 minutes is what we're looking at today. Roughly 16 laps around here, 90-second laps. It's going to be an interesting run down to turn 1 and around to turn 2. Here comes Barney with the lights. It's going to be green flag, and it's a good start from Dale Holden. Gets a really nice start at the start of the field. Should be able to hold on to this lead straight away, but you can look right behind. Quiros looking to try and make a move into turn 1, hard into the braking. Not able to make it, makes a mistake, and Bisserov will go right by him. He punishes that mistake. Everyone's getting through clearly in the background. A few people going off, but it's looking pretty clear at the moment. Good start for Bisserov.
Certainly is Bisserov leading the way up front. A bit of 3 wide scrapping in the background. I still struggle to pull the timings here, Daniel. With the side-by-side in the midst here, down the backstretch. This is where the slipstreaming will come in, right after this long right-hander, sort of hairpin-esque cars, really struggling to deal with the understeer there as Anton Semenov has a bit of an excursion off track, dropping a few positions to the rest of the field.
Yeah, losing a few positions and almost coming together with Tom Weston there. Tom Weston's that car in the front. Another little tap over 7 into 8. Downhill they go again, and he's just lost the grip a little bit. You see Rodriguez right behind him. Made a really good run. Had to correct that car. Really nice move here, but it's going to be the inside now as they come into turn 10. Another sweeping corner here. Gets it stuck right behind, though. You can just see in the background another overtake happening. So it's all early doors at the middle of the field. Here comes Schlomler. He's trying to make a move as well. Still 2 by 2.
Indeed, and now looking at the slipstream in the back bumper there of the number 15. Up ahead, Lawrence Denowden still leading with Thomas Martinez behind. Christian Bisserov making his way through the field. Absolutely an animal thus far, and up into third position, Eric Quieros, who is in fourth, but Armin Schlomer right now down here in 11th, trying to defend off the back of Tom Weston with the likes of Geddes ahead. He's trying to use the slipstream to his advantage, but it's going to be a bit of a position change. I don't see him fighting this one too hard, as there still is 23 minutes and change left in this race.
Yeah, I think Armin may have made a mistake there, but it's so tough to try and defend that corner. And he does lose it out to Weston Tom. Already 7 places to the good this evening. We got to get back to that lead, though, because Bisserov, he didn't have the best of qualifying today, but he's having a really good race, and the top 3 are starting to pull a little bit ahead. Quirrell's still trying to hold on there, but you just start to see this is the moment where you just have to set yourself up. Make sure you don't get up a little bit too squirrely, as Der Udin does. Loses the car, collides there with the back of Quirios. That is going to be a little bit of a moment out there. Key driver is getting hit. They are able to keep going. I don't think that's going to be a mechanical flag for Suarez, though, or Schubert.
No, I don't think it will either, and there is still a faster pair if needed, but we can see there Quieros trying to scrap alongside his teammate right now, but Thomas Martinez taking the lead of this race, and that is going to be an absolute wonder to the Terresto Racing team, who is going to be just dominating right now in terms of the positions. You can see the Brazilians in strength, and there's a car spun around. That is going to be, I'm not sure who that is. No, that's Alvaro Rodriguez who we're looking at, and that is immediately a return to the garage. Absolutely gutting in that case.
Yeah, it's such a shame. Looks like he lost control of it on his own. Bitterov is now looking to try and make some moves. Takes the fastest lap just by a 10th over Martinez, but able to hold on. But you can see on the timing tower, these two, since that incident, able to just pull away now. 2.5 seconds to the good of these two. This is one of the places you'll look for an overtake down into turn 3. Not happening, but it is happening in the middle of the field. Quirios trying to get past his teammate Schubert in the left, and on the right of Quirios. There shouldn't be any too hard fighting here, but the problem is you see Suarez comes by. They're going to have to fight for this really good move from Suarez to get through, and that's the problem when you've got team racing. You're trying to help your teammate, but it does hinder yourself.
It certainly does. Rule number 1 of racing, though, is don't hit your teammates. Rule number 2, unofficially, don't impede them, at least to the best of your ability. Now, we have seen, though, less than team orders from these guys in the past, although it is going to be tripping them up just slightly. Now, Luis Suarez needs to be really on his best behavior, and with the likes of Den Ouding getting into this conversation here for 4th position, Luigi here is going to be sweating like a cow in a burger joint.
Well, I wouldn't want to be the cow, but I'd like to be in the burger joint right now. That will be pretty good out there today. Quirios still trying to hold on. Up ahead, you see it, Odin trying to make that move on Luigi. Did not work there through the tricky 13. Gonna have to try and do this with a nice swing around the 14, the character of the 14. Goes a little bit wide. There is the runoff there that allows him to just take a quick off track and keep on driving. Martinez, fastest lap at the front, trying to hold off Bitserov. We're watching Deoda, we're watching Luigi. Gonna be tough around the outside of 1, and he will not get it stuck. A 90-degree corner straight into a sweeping right-hander. Whatever you do around there, even if you're 1's wide, it is so tough around there.
Yeah, it certainly is, and with the slipstream effect really playing a role here as well, we're going to be seeing position changes left and right throughout the night and down that start-finish straight, as well on the exit of the turn 1-2 complex onto the back stretch towards 3. Again, once you get in down towards the S's, it's going to be a bit more tricky to negotiate. Here we are going to slingshot ourselves now into those S's that we were talking about, and Luis Suarez just biding his time, waiting for that opportunity to rise or a mistake from ahead, and there is a little bit of a weakness. Lawrence Den Ouding gliding around the track there. Is there blood in the water for Luis Suarez?
There might be blood in the water, and there might also be blood in the water for Bakus here as he tries to look for a move on Simonov. That is Bisserov's teammate, so this is also important for the team standings if he can get a good move. A little bit of a slide there to slow the car down from Bakus as they come around that turn 10. So you just have to make sure you don't overheat those tires a little bit around here. Otherwise, you're going to have problems when it comes later in this race, even in a short 25-minute race. Is this the best time now for Bisserov to make the move? You can't really make the lunge here down into turn one. He's going to put the car there to try it. There is a small bit of overlap. Is he trying to force a mistake on Martinez there? He may have got that mistake. He's going to get a good run out of two, and they're going to be going side by side. No, they're not. He had to get off the throttle, otherwise he would have hit the back of Martinez.
Yeah, and with that better line there as well from Martinez, it was a little off for Bisserov. He has to just bide his time right now and count his lucky stars and just, again, prioritize a bit of discretion at this stage of the race. Still plenty of time for him to make the moves, and with the Luigi very far behind and getting caught up in battles like this, Luis Suarez side by side right now with Denouden, and they continue their scrap. Denouden takes the advantage for right now, but with all the Terresto Motorsports around here, it just bides that question of, are they going to be entering this battle anytime soon? I predict they might.
They might, but remember, the leaders are gone. They're almost 5 seconds ahead now. That these guys have to try and get whatever points they can and just see what they're able to on board with the 0-1-3 of Quirios. And you can just see what he's got to see. He sees the free cars. He sees the different lines. They're trying to defend into the left-hander of 12. Here's Tom Weston. We were talking about him earlier in the race. He's +9 for the day. He's looking for victim number 10. He's going to try it with a very brave move into 13, and he'll have to go around the outside of 14 on Martin Smith to try and hold this. Cannot make it. Zegler is behind, trying to pick up the scraps if there is a mistake. Don't think there's going to be. Could be a really nice move. Lead change, though, as the leaders are side by side, and Bisserov has taken the lead. Meanwhile, we'll be watching this.
How long will that last? That is the question as these battles try to resolve themselves. Tom Weston climbing the field like the monkey bars, and he's doing an excellent job of that, running wide there through the long right-hander, and now on to the back stretch where the slipstreaming will play in. You can see the drivers behind a bit occupied now, and Tom Weston, this should allow him to drive off into the Scandinavian sunset.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've only had 10 minutes of the race. Weston has a little bit of a train right behind him. He's trying to pull away. You wonder now, is that Schubert being the cork in the champagne bottle as they just look ahead to see what they can do. They might get joined, though, because Quirios has a slowdown in the rest of the field, so this may be another car coming on. You see a little bit side-by-side, though, with Quirios. He's had to take the slowdown. He takes the slowdown, gets it. Schubert goes wide, takes that position, and again, these teammates, they're not looking to go near anyone. It's almost like they've got magnets if we look at GSRC replay.
Yeah, let's see what we're looking at. This is the change for the lead here as Thomas Martinez gets the wool pretty much pulled over his eyes, and now he's going to be down in second. Christian Bisserov is now our race leader in that number one machine. Joining back to David Geddes now in 12th position. He is at the back of this slipstream train, and there you can see the Turismo Motorsports pretty much leading this. I mean, this is a battle all the way from, I would say, third, pretty much down to about 11th or 12th.
Yeah, it is a close battle, and they have stayed together. And that is the magic of Mazdas. If you've never watched the MX5 World Sim Series, you always got a nice bunch up of drivers. Anton Simonov as well, trying to recover after being -3 midway through the race. Unable to, but we get back to this battle, and Suarez trying to get through Luigi. They pulled ahead of the rest of the field. They're in their own two-car bubble right now. Through the S's they go, and up that hill. It's uphill for the start of 8 and then downhill. That little tabletop can throw some drivers off, and we have seen it already today, but Luigi holding on, and when you've got a raging car like Suarez right behind, it is so tough.
It certainly is, and this is why. Trying to go around the outside there, a bit of a Lewis Hamilton-esque move, and it's a mistake there from the 21. Luigi drops the position and hands that over to the Portuguese driver. Easier said than done to hold on for the rest of this race. The battling behind continues on with René Zegler in the midst of a knife fight in a phone booth right now.
Yep, he really is the meat in the middle if we go back to that burger joint, because he has Schlomer in front and he's got Geddes right behind. Not where he wants to be, the Dutchman. He wants to try and pull ahead of Armin, that number 29 car, trying to see what he can. But you see Armin ahead. He's got a little bit of slipstream of Smith. Not so much, but it's enough to just hold off for this moment. He's going to have to reset, recharge. A top 10 would do him wonders right now. Talking about other drivers, like he's trying to get some positions. This is Bertels trying to make that move around Bacchus, and he gets it stuck. Can he now catch up to Kalle Rattanen?
Yeah, very nicely done there, and he should be able to use his pace and advantage there to catch back up. I don't think Rattanen has any much of a friend, especially up at the front. These two, certainly no love lost between them. Thomas Martinez biting at the heels right now of Christian Bissarov, but not allowing him by just yet. Bissarov is going to be defending like an man for the next perceivable future. 12 minutes, though, and 50 seconds left. You don't want to be using all your tires. You don't want to be using all your advantage at this stage. I would predict to see a change in the lead at some point, and this might be that moment.
He almost looked like it. What happened? Bissarov lost the car a little bit out of turn 3 into turn 4. Had to correct it. They went side by side through the first part of the S's in 5 and 6. Turn 7, and Bissarov finally got that held up, was able to do what he could. But you can just start to see he overheated the tires a little bit around here. And now it is danger. Suarez has gone around. And I believe that was a moment with Luigi elsewhere in the field. He's going to lose some positions. It was indeed Quirios, making a mistake. Now you see the Suarez losing more positions. He's down into 5th, and he's losing that slipstream.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial, and not only is he losing the slipstream, he's losing his position on track. In too deep, his best Sum 41 impression, Luis Suarez, was that mechanical failure.
It was indeed. He had a mechanical black flag, and unfortunately, I think that caused a lot of the issues. I think he may have had a tire loose, and that probably would have affected his braking. We're going to see the replay of what happened. It just went a little bit wide, door was left open, and you've got to feel that Quirios, yes, there was a little bit of a gap there, got a chance to do it. The rear ending, and I believe that probably caused a track bar issue, unable to go on. But these drivers have been going on and on and on. They've been battling since lap 5 of the race. It's lap 9 now. And where does Martinez find his way through?
That is the question, and to be honest, I thought he would have found his way through by now. Really, again, down to the slipstream, down to the first corner, and down to the third as well. But we haven't really been seeing Bissarov crack just yet. Sort of like a diamond under pressure. He is holding on, but with that, we all know that that can shatter into a million pieces. As Anton Simonov here, his positions seem to be faltering right now as he drops down into 16th position overall, and the front end of that car does not look quite showroom ready.
No, well, you've got the car, you drive the car, and you get a free car. It's a little bit, you can take a few risks, providing you don't overshoot and over damage to the car or damage another car, and that's what he was trying to. Slomler trying to make this move. We've seen this a couple times today, down into turn 1, but a really good defense from Smith. Is he going to get an off track there? Is he going to get a slowdown penalty? He is not, but the slingshot works well, the over-under almost, and Slomler really allows him to get that power down. He has taken the position over the Dutchman, and now he just has to try to defend this. He's back on the racing line, and Smith going to try and make an overtake here. He will not, but that's really good to just set that over-under up after turn 1.
Yeah, it really is, and Schlomer should be able to walk away with this. Looking at his lap times, he was last time around about 7/10 of a lap quicker, 7/10 of a second quicker around the course of this Rudskogen circuit. So he should be able to get away right now and try his best to find the back of Lawrence Den Ouden, who's also in contention with Tom Weston. Schubert also in that as well. So we'll see. There are developments here yet to come. Still 9 minutes, 24 seconds left. It is anyone's game right now, I would say, for the top 3.
Yeah, top 3. Actually, the last spot on the podium is pretty tight at the moment. Quirios, Schubert, Weston, the Uden just there as well. Here's David Mitchell. He's looking to try to just make some positions up. He's already +6 after not qualifying today. In front of him, he's got that Rattanen we saw, and then Bacchus right behind. just trying to find what he can. They may be 30 seconds behind the leaders, but every point counts in this championship, because you really want to get to that grand final at Laguna Seca, because that's where everything comes onto the playing field. And maybe now with just a nice little run, he might be able to look for an overtake. Luigi's looking for the overtake. Going to be late breaking into one as he overcooked it. No, Duarte did realize what was happening, and actually Luigi's cut the inside too much. He's got to serve a slowdown.
Yeah, he will, and he doesn't seem to be too affected by it. He took the inside line there to try to minimize it to the best of his ability, but when you're a driver down there in 21st position in the standings, you're willing to give it your all to gain every little point you can, especially when you're battling with Duarte, who's in 34th. Luigi, he knows how close he is. He's knocking on the door for Laguna Seca, but he is going to be able, or is he rather going to be able to come in? That is the question.
That is the question. The phone is ringing. It's Laguna Seca. Will you take the call? That is what he's looking for today. And so David Geddes trying to battle on Zegler. We've seen this battle, and even though both these drivers are -1 for the day, they've still been fighting hard and been keeping together. We've got almost a lead change, though, as almost similar to what happened earlier in the race at turn 14. The window was left a little bit open. Bisserov did leave that open, and unfortunately, he had the pie out on the windowsill, and Martinez said, "Do you mind?" And just at the last moment, the window was shut.
Yeah, and just about taking his fingertip off as well, but thankfully just getting away with it. He comes, though, down to the inside of the first corner, getting alongside Bisserov. Can he respond? He's going to get his elbows out. A little bit of bumping and banging through the first sector. Martinez to the outside, using every little bit of momentum he can. It's a drag race down to the braking zone. Who is gonna give? Christian Bisserov. He's gonna take the lead of the race, but still to the outside. Martin is not giving up.
Martin not giving up, and he broke earlier to try and over-under. Did not work. Bisserov held onto that position, but you've got to feel he's used a little bit of tire wear up in that moment, and all of a sudden the pressure is starting to cook a little bit, and he's starting to get a little bit tight. You can see the car is sliding. We even saw that with Martinez. His car was sliding a little bit. A mistake coming out of 8 down into 9. Outside is still there for Martinez. It's going to be tough around 10. It is a true hairpin around here. He will try the over-under. It's tough out there. Couldn't get the throttle down in time. Bisserov holds on to it as they come down to 11. Another overtaking corner at 12. Not going to do it, but next corner, 13 into 14. He tried that overtake before around here, Mike. He may try it again.
Martinez loves that outside line. He commits to it pretty much time and time again, not willing to give it up. But Bisserov says thank you for that, because he is willing to defend the inside. This is a bit of a immovable object, meaning an unstoppable force, I feel. And as we get down to the closing sectors of this race, I sense things may boil over just slightly. The same could be said as well down the field with the likes of Rene Zegler, who's been making their way through the ranks here. He gets granted another position for free, as I'm not sure who that was. That's Martin Schmidt, who's going in for a pit stop. Not where he wanted to find himself with 5.5 minutes left.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's got a mechanical black flag out there and had to take the pit stop. Martinez and Bisserov had a little bit of a touch moment going through the first corner. It's so tight there, you kind of expect that to happen when they're having hot driving out there, but cannot get that throttle down as the sun starts setting even more in this race around Rudskogen. It is so tough out there onto the tabletop of 8, still nowhere to go. I'm surprised none of these drivers have tried a lunge at 8. It's one that you can catch anybody out through that corner. Unable to do so. In the background, you'll see Duarte on the timing tower getting past Geddes as well. He's +3 for the day. And in fact, Geddes has had a mistake elsewhere. He goes down to Luigi. That might be the position Luigi needs for Laguna.
It very well may be the difference maker, just securing himself in the top 10. Every point matters right now, and he's still just behind Duarte, so he might not be done. His day could get even better right now, and again, nothing is guaranteed, especially when you have some drivers up there with the likes of, well, actually, I say that, and I would say Duarte. We also have a pretty decent spread in terms of the drivers that are already secured, so that really will play into Luigi's favor. He is currently beating a lot of drivers that otherwise would be in that contention seat, which would be great for the Turismo team. We know there's a lot of support in chat from them, and of course, the Brazilians are very passionate in their love for motorsports.
how can you not like the passion of the Brazilian, not just in motorsport, but I saw it in slalom skiing today, just to show the passion they have for all their sports stars and all their motorsport fans and elsewhere. And you can see that Martinez still trying to make this move to Spaniard, trying to get past Bisserov. It's another good run out of 3 and 4. But you get to these S's and you have to be side by side to force a move. And there's nothing there at the moment. Comes up into 7, around to 8, still nowhere to go. And you have to start thinking with 3 minutes and change left in this race, if he really wants this win. And to be fair, you race to win, so you will want that, even if the points are good for you right now. You really have to start wondering. That car behind them, that's a back marker. That is not a free car fight.
I'm just thinking this is Martinez trying just to go for a last lap send, you know, something just to mug him last time of the time around, go for the change in his pocket, you know, or a little bit of a midnight special through London. We'll see. Martinez here, of course, the Spaniard. I'm not sure if that is quite his game or not, but with 2.5 minutes, we're getting down to that time where we will be finding out. And there is Yao Schubert trying to do the likes of making the move onto Tom Weston, not being able, though, just yet.
No, Schubert made the mistake out of 12, lost the grip of the car. Weston goes through. That is plus 14 for the day. He's made himself all the way up into 4th. And Bertels has had a moment on track. It almost looks like he's had a self-spin, because he is able to get that car going. But unfortunately, that moment lost him a couple of positions out there. Such a shame. The unlucky 13 is not a position any driver wants to be in. We've got to get back to the leaders, though. 2 more laps to go, or 1 more lap after this one to go. Is there a place for Martinez to make the move?
Well, there certainly is. There's plenty of places for Martinez to make the move. It's whether or not Bisserov is going to allow it to happen. So far, he hasn't put a tire wrong. He's been absolutely unanswerable in terms of the questions that have been asked. And Bisserov, it's really, I think, his race to lose at this point. Martinez, though, he can go for it. This is going to be the penultimate lap, the last time around as we go on through before Bisserov will take the checkered flag and secure the fact that he is the number 1 in this championship.
He's got a 1 for a reason. That's because he is one of the top drivers, and you start to see why. He had a bad qualifying. He made up the 3 spots he needed to get back to the lead. He's held that lead ever since, even though there was some side-by-side with Martinez. And as he comes around turn 14, Barney is getting ready with that white flag, not the white and black checker flag. He's still got 1 more time to go. It's going to be very tight. The final time into turn 1. Is there a move here? Bisserov knows that Martinez is quite close. He's going to cut the outside. He's going to have to try and force him around. Very brave move from Martinez. They touch each other and they both go around.
It ends in tears and disaster, and Eric Quieros is going to be the one to potentially benefit, but no, they've actually had such a commanding lead. Christian Bisserov, despite the contact, will stay ahead. Thomas Martinez, though, down to the last moment. He got desperate. We'll have to see a replay of that one for certain. It might be after this race, but the controversy of the century, Thomas Martinez and Christian Bisserov on the final lap in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, and in fact, Schubert as well, he's got some damage. He's pulled off on the side of the road on the final lap as well. And you saw as well that Schubert going wide. Sorry, it was a different driver. Schubert went a little bit wide. Zegler as well. He's making his final moves. Duarte getting past him as well. Some really good moves here. Drivers realize the situation. Downhill, perfect place to make the overtake. Try and hold on, and that is what they did. Bisserov, though, had a few more corners to go. No other driver looks like they're going to be able to try and change their positions out on the field. Bisserov has had to try and take the lead here today, and he has done so well to get that lead. And there will be a talking point of what happened on that turn 1 and turn 2 combination. But the stats will say out of the final corner after 25 minutes, it will be Christian Bisserov, the number 1 car, who takes the victory at Rudskogen.
Absolutely superlative. And Thomas Martinez comes home for 3rd position when all is said and done. Eric Quieros takes home 2nd, the number 13 Brazilian driver in the Turismo team, delivering strong tonight with Yao Schubert in 5th. and their teammate Luigi securing 11th. That might just be enough to bring him into the top 20. Yao Schubert as well with that 14th position coming into tonight. I think he has secured himself a seat. Lots of happy drivers and lots of drivers that will be scratching their heads and wondering what the future holds in terms of Laguna Seca.
Yeah, well, we've got to get everything totaled, and we will look at that to see who gets to Laguna Seca. But what we do know is Bissarov, he was already in. He wins the race. Quirios does finish second. That gap is not what you expect to see after what happened at the end of the race, because Thomas Martinez comes home in third. Almost had a shot for the victory there, with Tom Weston plus 14 for the day in fourth. Yao Schubert will take fifth, and Lawrence de Uden will be sixth. Then Armin Schlomler will take that 7, and Sergio Duarte makes up 4 positions to finish 8th. René Zeglar will be 9th. David Geddes will finish 10th.
And on to 11th, Andre Luigi just sneaking in there for the 11th position. Anton Simonov a hair behind in P12. He was in 31st. He will be gaining some points. And again, one of those drivers scratching their heads. 39th for Bertels coming into tonight. He finished 13th with Mitchell's Bein in 14th. Kalle Ratanen in 15th with Alman Bacchus in 16th. Mackenzie Mann 17th here tonight with Bruno Albino in P18. Luis Suarez 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Martin Smith.
With just the last 3 cars, one of them was Leon Vortus, who finished a lap down. Then the 2 drivers who retired early on, which was Bruno Lisbova in 22nd. Alvaro Rodriguez will finish 23rd. But that was a very action-packed race there at Rudskogen. So that is the cup, the Club Cup, sorted now. They will head to Laguna Seca next month. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will be at Interlagos. We'll take the hop over the ocean for the MX5 World Sim Series. Do not go anywhere. That promises to be a spectacle.
Lovely. I need...
Welcome back to the action, and after an enthralling Club Cup, we now move to the main event, the MX5 World Sim Series. I am still Craig King. With me in the booth is still Mike Nels, but behind the scenes still is Daniel Costello, and he's still using those cameras provided by Dougie Beard. So we've gone from the hills of Norway to the city of Sao Paulo. This is the final round of the World Sim Series, and it is the challenge of the iconic track that is Interlagos. Now, for more information about this, we're going to head over to Joe Pink for that wonderful GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Autodromos Jose Carlos Pache. Most fans and drivers simply know this place as Interlagos. Starting life as an absolute behemoth of a circuit, this Brazilian track was eventually truncated to the version you see today. Having hosted Formula One for roughly 3 decades, it's become very well known on the international stage. But it has also held rounds in the World Endurance Championship, as well as frequently seen Brazilian stock cars, motorcycles, and even truck racing. There's little difference between its two layouts, which includes the GP course and the Moto course, which simply adds a chicane to the end of the lap. In both cases, it's a tale of 2 circuits. The run past the start-finish line and into the Senna S, followed by the blast towards the Descida do Lago, are very high-speed sections that come back-to-back. Drivers will need to focus on top end in order to attack or defend. Expect most passes to happen in those 2 corners. But from Ferradura until Junção, the track suddenly twists itself into a mess of hairpins and frustratingly technical turns. This can make car setup a real compromise, and for the latter part of the lap, an absolute pain when dealing with traffic. Pit exit is also a narrow affair, so it requires drivers to take care when trying to maximize their outlaps. On the upside, with this being a modern F1 track, there's paved runoff in abundance at many of the fast corners. The passion of the Brazilian fans always comes out in force at races, and it's no wonder with this picturesque track sandwiched right amongst the neighborhoods of Sao Paulo.
I always love Joe giving us these wonderful track guides, and Mike, is there anything more iconic than Interlagos?
There are few and far betweens as iconic as the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. One of the most amazing tracks out there on the planet, and a real racer's circuit as well. Some of the best overtaking opportunities on this 15-corner circuit, 10 to the left and 5 to the right. Founded back in 1940, the first F1 race was raced here in 1973, but here in 2024, we're going to be racing the MX5s, and my goodness, you look at any one of these corners, and you can pretty much say it's an overtaking opportunity. Through the first corner, of course, they go down to the Senna S's, or the Curva de Senna, through the de Sol and onto the Reto Aposta, and then through Descida del Lago. The overtaking opportunities are rife. Down through Laranja, of course, and into the famous Junção. More overtaking opportunities than you could imagine, and Craig, this is an absolute amazing circuit.
Love this track. It always provides the action, and that's what we need tonight. Action to decide who goes to Laguna Seca for the grand final. Eddie Koba looks like he's there already in the lead of the championship, with Nicholas Goebel just behind and Jason Cooper in 3rd. While Damis will be in 4th and Aiden Grozniak will be 5th. Jack Veazey will take 6th with Leakin Fox in 7th. Dylan DaCosta 8th. Nuno Ferreira and Per Stamberg just close up in the background in 9th and 10th. They should, knock on wood, be safe for the final, but they want to make sure they get the points, just like in the Nations Cup, which is coming up, because that is just as close.
Certainly is, and as we do head on over to the Nations Cup, we can see that España is leading the championship by 213 points. Quite a dominant lead right now for Spain over Germany, who is not that far ahead of the United Kingdom, and a decent margin ahead of the United States. Netherlands coming home in 5th position with France in 6th, Belgium in 7th, Portugal in 8th, Brazil here on the home turf is in 9th, and Sweden down in 10th.
And not only that, we have the team championship to talk about as well. That is looking very good for 5-Star Motorsport, 5-Star service for them in the lead with an MX5 deep dive in P2. And then look at the gap between the rest of the field. Sim Racing Sweden will be in third. STC Spirit 14, they're in fourth. Sweat Sim Racing fifth. Zenith Esports will be sixth. The organization will be seventh with Simtech Racing in eighth. BB1 will take ninth. And 3G Racing down there in 10th, still in the top 10. If you weren't here earlier, same format as last time. 25-minute races, fixed setup. It's a spare car as well. And if you do want to get yourself in on some of this action, there is actually a Black Friday sale coming up, which we'll talk about later. Qualifying, though, still going on. One lap for all these drivers as you start to see some of these drivers make their way through. David Terran was leading in qualifying. Ade Cobra just taking the lead.
Yeah, Ade Koba just ahead of David Taron right now. Nicholas Goebel coming home in third with Jason Cooper in fourth. Joel Singleton in fifth right now, and Adnan Grozdanich in sixth. But of course, we do have a little bit more word about that Black Friday sale.
Yeah, we do have a little bit more word about that Black Friday sale if you are looking to get into this, and why wouldn't you? It's fantastic around here. There is the Black Friday sale still going on iRacing, and if you do want more information, look at this. 50% off for all new memberships. That's how I started on the service. 25% if you want to renew or reactivate around here. You can get as high as 2 years subscription. That's what some of us do. I played it safe this year with one. I had 2 last year. You do play it nice and safe, but that 50% for new membership, trust me, from someone who took advantage of that. A little young man back in 2018 took advantage of that. He used it, and he is still here today. iRacing.com/Black Friday for all information about the biggest iRacing sale of the year. And the biggest lead out there today is still Ade Cobra, still out there leading. It looks like he's just giving himself a few more times around. Up through Junkel, up this lovely run up the hill. I love this part of the track, Mike.
Oh, for multiple reasons, of course. Through Jungsao, the most famous moment maybe in Formula One history, where back in 2008, Lewis Hamilton was declared his first ever Drivers' World Champion from the infamous "is that Glock going slow" moment that we all remember. Well, okay, I was 8 years old, I'll be honest, I don't remember it live, but I, of course, do remember it regardless.
I actually remember it. I actually remember the heartache from the year before, and I remember jumping up and down when I saw Timo Glock there and Hamilton getting through. I do remember it. Fantastic moments there. Also, let's not forget Fernando Alonso's crash in the wet. Max Verstappen slide in the wet. Fantastic moment. Dames just setting his other lap here. He was going to try and get a position. It's not faster. He still stays in fourth. So many overtaking corners down here. You come down, Lawrence Sebastian just coming around the Curva del Sol. So many moments. This is a great overtaking point. If you've played other sim racing games, this next corner down into turn 4 to the Estilo del Lago, so many moments that they tell you, learn how to take this corner. Just look how tight it is and look how much runoff you've got. Not a lot, really.
No, not really. Invalidations are easy, and that is where you're going to be seeing some drivers muscle their other drivers out of the way. And as you come on down here to turn 6 and 7 through the Fureda and into the Esse through Laranya, it is going to be the tight twisty bits. This is where the overtaking, it still can happen. You see it happen from time to time, and in these MX5s, it really, again, any corner it's possible on. But most drivers are going to be fairly nip and tuck through this sector, and then on the way down towards Jungsao and into turn 11 after you do, of course, around this right-hander, and then there we go. Throw yourself around the long left-hander and then back up the hill for the final time here for Lawrence Sebastian down in 25th right now, experiencing a little bit of understeer. These cars, you sort of just turn them in the right direction and then slam on the throttle and they'll just respond. That's one of the things I love about these little punchy MX5s.
They're almost point and click out there, and you do see that some of the drivers like to just do a point and click. Looks like he's going to be heading just for that cut. Remember, you can cut that line and make sure you don't get a slowdown. However, it will come across the line. Is that going to be better for him? It's going to help, definitely. But Sebastian is down there in 25th. Dalmez just finishing up as well. There is 8A Cobra, though. He is the lead driver, and there is a reason he's leading. A 10th doesn't sound a lot when it comes to qualifying, especially on a track that's 1 minute 50. A day is just, they're so ahead, though. But that 1 minute 50, a 1/10 on a 1 minute 50 lap, that's quite a lot.
It really is, and if for anyone curious, the blink of an eye is about 0.2 of a second, and if anyone is, of course, curious on what exactly can happen in the blink of an eye, and I'm glad you did ask, Craig, an Amethyst Woodstar Hummingbird can beat its wings about 20 times in the difference between Ade Koba and David Terron's lap.
If you're not learning something new every day, what's the point? And I just learned something very new out there today. Comes through. I love this corner. This is Pico de Pato, a great overtaking corner. But if you want to actually do some overtakes, get some new gear, we do have our sponsor, of course, Simify. They do have some sim centers in Barcelona. They do have some sim centers as well in Madrid. But we have a link in the broadcast description if you would like a discount for all your sim hardware or your sim wear as well. If you really need a boost, please go to Simify. We thank them once again for sponsoring this series and sponsoring today for us as 20 seconds roll on. I think you've got 20 seconds to just have a quick look at their deals, Mike.
Yeah, Ade Koba seems to have secured this one up. David Terron in second. Philip Scriffignano, I think, is still on a lap. Or no, he did secure himself a lap at a 152.3. That's very uncharacteristic from Philip. We had Yuangji Lin, who was behind, and a few other drivers, maybe a little bit out of position. One of the bigger drivers, Lawrence Denowden, actually in 16th position tonight with company Tom Weston in 6th. As we get into it here, though, here is our starting grid.
Yeah, 8A Cobra, as we saw, is in the lead with David Terron in second. Nicholas Goebel will be third with Juan Dalmez in fourth. And then Jason Cooper will be fifth with Yo Singleton in sixth. Aidan Grozniak will be seventh. Jack Vizi will be eighth. Dylan DaCosta will take ninth. And Michael Chase will take number 10.
Moving on to 11th here in starting row 6 off, Per Sandberg in P11 with Ewan Bremer in P12, alongside Alexander Longo in 13th with Kalle Kavisto in 14th. Tom Weston, uncharacteristic 15th result for the number 6 driver, with Lawrence Denowden, the number 5 driver, in 16th. Philip Scriffignano in 17th for the number 17. Some say that's fate, some say it's a curse. We will find out as the night goes on. Yuangji Lin, 18th quickest, with Matthias Kamas in 19th, and rounding out top 20 is Roberto Bruno.
Yeah, 37 cars here today. The next 10 are the last time qualifiers, with Peter Gosens in 21st. Matt Tempest will be 22nd with Edward Grobe in 23rd. Ronald Moons 24th. Lawrence Sebastian, as we saw, 25th. Michael Tangaretta will be 26th. Martin Smith 27th. Melvin Twin will be 28th. Peter Reed 29th. Tony Wallace, last at the time qualifiers, in 30th.
Miles Owens coming home in 31st with Albert Palahi in 32nd. Tony Wallace in 33rd. No, excuse me. Wilhelm van Rossel and Miles Owens ahead. Charles Kellyman in P34 with Patrick Alders alongside in 35th. Rene Ziegler in 36th. And last but not least on the grid without a time is Mackenzie Mann.
Well, green flag is about to wave out there. 8A Cobra has 81 Fahrenheit out there. He'll take the green flag, and you start to see a lot of drivers making a few mistakes, curb banking on the start line for the back of the field. But Cobra getting past, he gets an easy start to run. Is he going to try and make a move in? He's not going to look for it this time. He's going to get that the way of a places, trying to make some moves. We do have some wrecks already. Weston looks like he's gone around. Odin has gone around already. They'll have to take that quick repair as fast as they can, but they're going to be down quite a bit.
Yeah, and up at the front, everybody nip and tuck. Not too many drivers getting too out of shape just yet, but as I say that, on the run down towards Decina del Lago, we see a couple drivers pulling out of the slipstream. One of those is Jack Veazey, looking to make moves early on here and get by the likes of Joel Singleton. I think he may have, although right now I think looking at the pictures, no, there we see Veazey still behind Singleton. Adnan Grozdanich ahead with Jason Cooper in 5th, Jaime Dalmasas in 4th, Goebel in 3rd. third, David Taron in second, and leading us away by a decent margin already at Koba. Although you can see there, David Taron will not be letting this one go without a fight.
Yeah, Taron trying to hold on as he can to just keep this going. This is always kind of a thing you see around here in single-class races at Interlagos. Loads of overtaking spots, but you don't want to lose the time early doors. Make the overtake on the straight, and then near the end of the race, start to take those risks. And that's what we may see from this top five, and that is why for Gozniak, getting that overtake on Joe Singleton early doors was very important. Gotta give a shout out to Wanshi Ling, already +5 for the day, but Dalmez is here in P4. He gets a good run, pulling out a bit too early, I feel, because he's going to lose some of that slipstream. That may come back to bite him with so much of a slipstream train.
Yeah, especially on that uphill sector of the track, all the drag and the gravity kind of not favoring him. Up at the front here, I think Ade Koba and David Taron might be having a bit of a lead change, judging by the posture there of Ade Koba. He was not too inclined on fighting that, and David Taron is our new race leader. I predict we're going to see that a few times throughout the night. That is the one of the DRS zones in the Formula One race. Of course, these cars, no rear wing to speak of, so DRS constantly active, I guess you could look at.
It's active aero, you could almost say, like that. That is what it is out there today. You see a little bit of bump drafting. Now, in the real world MX5, if you're used to seeing that around with the IMSA series, they're not allowed to do a lot of that. They just come and lock horns together. But this is what we were expecting. That was the same thing you saw with Koba. Decided not to look for any moves early doors, because why? Look at the gap these 6 are starting to make on the field. In fact, everyone still bunched up a little bit. It's so crucial to get ahead early, because one mistake now, and you're not just looking at going down all the order, you're looking down to going down to 35th if you're not too careful.
Yeah, one mistake can add up quickly with a load of hurt pretty much immediately. And these drivers, they all know that, with the 3 up at the front right now. David Taron, Ade Koba, and Hamed Almasis, and Nicholas Gobel as well, and heck, throw Jason Cooper in the mix. All these drivers are very experienced. And at this stage, this is, of course, round 10 of the championship here. And they have raced each other time and time again out on circuit, and not just in these leagues as well. So they know each other. They know how they race. They know where their aggressive nature is. And so we'll be seeing the very evolved level of racing and a bit of mind games as well, I would predict, because that's another thing. You may know the driver's strengths, you also know their weaknesses.
Well, we saw practice. There was a little bit of free wide, and hey, let's do it already. Here comes Koba, Taron, and Dalmez. Free wide on lap 3 as we head down to the curve, 1 into the center S's, and you can see Koda hold on to it. Dalmez takes the meat in the middle. He gets that P2. There will be a lap car coming out the pit. Won't affect them. But everybody just having a little bit of a moment there, trying to have a look. And we'll look quickly at this start. We did see some drivers just trying to get on through. Won't be surprised if some drivers may have not missed a shift, but just had a little tap in the background. We know Tom Weston was one of them, and you can just see it almost looks like they tried to force it free wide, did not realize how much space they had, and that's a moment you've got to try and hold on to the brakes as much as you can. And that's just unfortunate. There was a couple others caught up there.
When did that, I feel like that happened in real life at some point in time. What was that? I don't know. That gives me deja vu for whatever reason. But anyways, look into the battle up at the front right now. And heck, I would call this a war, to be honest. Nevertheless, a battle. We're going to be seeing this for the next foreseeable future. All of these drivers giving it their all. Joel Singleton right now trying to capitalize on the mistakes of Jack Veazey ahead. Doesn't look like he's been able to in this time. In fact, he's going to have to go for a bit of an offensive-defensive move there, as Dylan DaCosta getting himself known loud and proud, and now losing a bit of time to the pack in front. They're going to need to just kind of dial it back a couple percent, gain back up, and worry about each other on a later date.
Very interesting move around the outside there of Pinheiro for Jack Veazey. Manages to make it stick, and then Dylan DaCosta again, he saw that opening at Pico de Pato. I talked about drivers do like to make that move, try to make it, could not make it. So now let's see what happens here with Dalmez. It's not the guy that was starting the race and swapping places with Koba. He's gonna have to look, and he lifts off early. Understands the assignment. A little bit of squirreliness there on the brakes for Taron, but holds onto it. Now, a little checkup like that on such a field like this, that could have been fatal if it was a mistake. Everyone just aware of the situation, holding on. Remember, there's 19 minutes left in the race. You don't want to be going too gung-ho out there. Not at this stage of the race, because look at that train. Everybody wants a piece of this action. There's one side-by-side, and it's Wan Shi Li making it 7 positions in the background.
Yeah, it is. And also we have Mr. Jake Sperry in chat, who's here in spirit, saying the 1, 2, 3 for the 5-star, 5-star 45, but 1, 2, 3 for the Spanish Inquisition up at the front right now. Ade Koba, Jaime Damasis, and David Teron. Niklas Goebel, he is the German trying to get himself known in this battle, although I'm not sure I've seen that likes of a conflict well since back on their extended holiday in 1942.
Well, this is not the battle you want to be having out there at the moment. This is the great battle we're seeing, and more people making moves. That is Joe Singleton losing the position in the background, as you saw on the timing tower, and there's Dylan DaCosta going up a position. The biggest loser of those that haven't really had a moment out there is Dylan DaCosta. Everything on the timing tower is green, apart from those that had the lap 1 incident. A little bit wide there. I just see some of the drivers as Joe Singleton, he continues to struggle, but it does look like a very big struggle. However, right behind him, Wan Shi Li saw the opportunity on Michael Chase because he left that slipstream open. He's going to take the position away. He's up another position. He's going to try this. There he is. He's on the outside there of Joe Singleton. He is not going to try this around the outside of the center exit. He will give it a go. There's one car behind, a slight tap. This is really good from the driver. The SCCA runoff driver, as we saw yesterday in iRacing, makes it 2 positions on one straight. He's +9 for the day, and he hasn't lost a lot of time to the pack.
No, he certainly hasn't, and this pack up front really making it easy to do so. Look at this little fight that we have going on here, a potential 3 wide into Decina del Lago, but all of the drivers just trying to squabble and squirm for the positions. Jaime Domasis taking it from David Teron, but Niklas Goebel, he is the one sort of the outlier in this conversation, the number 2 car, getting his feathers thrown into this one, and now just having to back off. He gained 1 position so far. David Teron left with his jaw sort of on the floor, to be completely honest. You can see from behind the 5-star in a bit of a scrap with who is that behind? That's adding Jack Veazey. Jack Veazey is getting a bit feisty as these laps continue on.
Yeah, everyone has to respect what Jack has been doing, because that's the second time he tried to go around the outside of turn 9. Pinheiro, he tried to do it, was unable to, and was able to hold on. Let's look at the back of the field, though, because there are still battles. Remember, drivers still trying to find those points to get into the World Cup final next month. We will get more information about that. This is Peter Gilsons is looking to see what he can do on Miles Owen, losing out of position. Owen's already +2 on this lap, +11 for the day. Remember, he did not set a qualifying time, and sometimes that may help you when it comes to a start. +11 is nothing to shake your hand at.
No, it certainly is not. And looking up the field here as well, currently in, well, battle for 11th as we take a look at the likes of Joel Singleton and Michael Chase, the 2 Americans on the circuit, having a little bit of a civil war. It's a reenactment again back in a few hundred years ago. But right now, those 2, they just need to be on their best behavior. Discretion's the better part of valor, is often said, and they need to be looking forward. Michael Chase in particular, but Joel Singleton, he is in a fight right now for that final few seats at Laguna Seca. Keep that in mind. It's only the top 20 that make it in.
Only the top 20, and you've got to think we've got 37 drivers out there today, or 36 drivers. You've got to feel that these drivers, they're all trying to just make sure those bookings are confirmed, and they're going to find themselves in Laguna Seca in a month's time. But they have to be in it to win it, and these drivers are definitely in it, and they're in the thick of it right now, as you see on board with Aiden Gosniak. Just look at what he has to see. There is nothing in front of him but a massive rear bumper of a Mazda MX5, or a Miata as they say in America. He is too busy having to look at what's ahead of him more than what's ahead of the guy in front of him. It is so tough to be following in this train.
It really is, and this is sort of the time and place where you just have to set these little micro objectives, and that's even just being, I need to stay behind this driver within 5/10 for an entire lap even, nevertheless going for an overtake, nevertheless 5 overtakes in certain drivers' cases like Adnan Grosdanic if they want to find the win here tonight. But up at the front, Jaime Dalmasis is not too concerned about that. The Zenith MX5 onto the back of Ade Koba. It's almost looking like we might see a position change here for the lead. Koba covers the inside. In fact, no, just hands the inside pretty much back over, parks it dead center of the track. And with Niklas Göbel, he seemed to be posturing himself for a move. I'm surprised we didn't see a position change from any of those drivers. It seems everyone's on their best behavior right now, Craig.
Yeah, everyone's on their best behavior, but look up ahead, look at the standing. A Spanish man, a German, and a Spanish. And you've got to feel that if you're Göbel right now, you're kind of in a little bit of a tricky situation. The Spanish may work together, and there you see it. Göbel's going to try and do this. He's not going to try and do 2 here. He's going to try and do 2, a little bit of bumping. He gets it done. Still an overlap. Really good move from Niklas Göbel there. He's got to now confirm this move, and there's still going to be an overlap call, and a push there from Dalmez onto Koda will allow him to keep it going. And in fact, they're going to push together NASCAR style. Going to be tough around the outside of 6. And he manages to hold on to P2 to Göbel. He gets 1 position. He almost had the lead. How about into turn 8? It's going to be very tough. Let's keep it going. They're still side by side. The more they keep side by side, the more the drivers get to hold on. Finally, Göbel gets that confirmed. But that was a very interesting move to try and take 2 in 1.
That was a brilliant show of aggression from the German driver, and Ade Koba almost got caught sleeping at the wheel, but no, he defends the position for right now. Jaime Dalmasis, not the same story, as he was dispatched down to 3rd, and now Göbel up into 2nd, and he's not done just yet. The German looking to be known here to beat the El Capitano Fantastico, as Jake has dubbed Ade Koba, one of the most consistent drivers in this league and one of the quickest as well. Time and time again showing their skills. Niklas Göbel looking to end on a high note though, but with 11 minutes and 53 seconds, it's anyone's game, and now a change for the lead as Niklas Göbel has the inside line, and Ade Koba, is he gonna hand it over? It's not gonna be easily. Niklas Göbel spun round. No, that's... Was that? Yes, no, that
Koda.
was, oh, Koda, Ade Koba has gone round at the first corner.
Leader of the championship is around. He is down in 14th position, and that has just set championship implications, because now somebody knows they're going to gain more points to try and get that punched hole ticket to Laguna Seca. Jack Veazey probably sees it. He realizes that's going to be a position. Nobody expected that the 9K Salvin, the legend that is a coder of the series, to try and make some moves. We're going to see more 2x2 up ahead. You've got Owen Bremner ahead. Michael Chase trying to go around the outside of Joe Singleton. Joe Singleton is trying to hold on to this. And Osei, can you see? He's going to make that position.
Absolute drama here as the times unfold, and Niklas Göbel controversially takes the lead of this race. Both of our races here tonight, Rudskogen and Interlagos, having their dramas, but we still have dramas yet to come as we look down to Eduardo Gross in P19, now make that 18th as he finds the inside of what looked to be their turn 8 through 9, a very commanding overtake, leaving the likes of Tangareta pretty much speechless.
Well, I'll tell you who is speechless. It's David Taron. He's just managed to take the overtake here on Niklas Göbel, and he will have that lead. And he actually managed to make that early before this corner. And now you've got the drivers, and you've got to feel that the Spanish are there. Excuse me, said Dalmaid. He tried to make that free wide. There was not a gap there. They're going to go into the center S. It's free wide, and still Taron will hold on to the position. Look behind, though. They're trying to make the moves. Göbel around the outside is going to have a very tough time through the cover of Soul to hold on to this. He will not. He's going to have to reset, re-rack, recharge everything with free. He is going on, but the leaders are side by side down the Reto Oposta. Is there going to be a move around the outside for Jerome Dalmaid? I think there might be. Late braking for Taron. He holds on. We're going to go side by side for a few more corners.
keep an eye on Adnan Grozdanic while all of this is going on, because I predict that he's going to make his presence known for the battle of the lead sooner rather than later. Jaime Dalmasis, though, for the time being, takes the lead in a very, very aggressive way. Niklas Göbel not really wanting to battle it as hard as he would like. Still, though, from behind Adnan Grozdanic and Jason Cooper in their scrap for 4th position, trying to decide and negotiate the same piece of tarmac. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Adnan Grozdanic, but it's really up to the likes of Cooper as he takes it at the last moment there. No, yes, he did. I think the timing charts, have they updated?
I don't know about the timing chart, but my eyes have updated. Grozniak holds onto that position, and he's trying to catch up to these lead 3. And we've seen some free wides, we've seen some pushing, we've seen some excuse me's, we've seen some wrecks. How about we go for round 9 around here of this little bout between these 3? 2 Spaniards and a German. They are battling for the European supremacy, definitely. But we got to go to the rest of the field. Joe Singleton is trying to have this little battle as he goes by. More Americans trying to make the move side by side. You see the leaders are side by side once again. No surprise there. Apart from this time, it is Göbel around the outside, and the outside becomes the inside of the Sennareses. And that would be a move that one Ayrton Senna would be very proud of.
It really would. Of course, Senna back in the 90s, driving to one of his best drives of the century with being stuck in 6th gear and still taking the win. Jaime Dalmasis here trying to take the lead back right now as he had it stolen from him in the first corner, and he is going to be able to do so. Dalmasis, though, keeps his foot in it, or rather Göbel, I should say, keeps his foot in it on the outside line. He's not going to give this one up just yet. This is causing a bit of a bottleneck, though, for the cars behind. In fact, it's put Jaime Dalmasis on a bit of an unfavorable line. He goes late on the brakes, though. David Terron looking to get down into the 2nd position now, maybe catch Jaime Dalmasis out, box him out in a point where he can't get back into this train. Right now, still side by side. Oh my goodness, and Jaime Dalmasis, he takes the lead, but it's not over just yet. This is incredible.
Welcome to the MX5 World Sim Series. This is side by side for half a lap around Interlagos. Dalmasis is the green and black. You've got Göbel in the red and blue. And finally, Dalmasis retakes the lead. Yes, retakes the lead. That is how chaotic it has been. But you've got to feel, look at the pack. The pack have bunched up once again. And I see on my timing tower, the top 8 are all together. That 8th place is Wanshi Lee, who's plus 10 for the day. But we got to see what moves happen this time. This feels like a game of chess, and I would not be surprised if we go 3 wide one more time. And here we go. And in fact, keep an eye out for Gosniak. He almost want to make that 4 wide, but they got to go 2 by 2 down into the center exit. Once again, David Terron this time around the outside to the inside. There's the overlap. This is going to be beautiful. 3 wide they go, but Göbel cannot hold on to it. He's going to lose that position to Gosniak. And now we've got even more 2 by 2. This is absolute racing. What more do you want? Watch out for Gosniak. Is he going to make a move? He isn't. David Terron, he's going to make the move.
Terron to the inside in the favorable overtaking line. Dalmasis, we know this is his favorable defense line as he had to do it for an entire lap. And here we go back to the deja vu, as Craig said, re-rack him, because this is exactly what we saw in the previous lap. Dalmasis leading Terron, leading Göbel, with Grozdanic trying to hold on to Jason Cooper, and VZ making his presence known as well. The battle, the top 6, Dylan DaCosta also here, and as you mentioned, Yuenji Lin up 8 positions, looking to potentially make it 6 more. Heck, why not for the rest of this night? That would be quite the result from the driver from China. But right now, it is the conversation of the century, the battle at Interlagos between Jaime Dalmasis, Terron, and Göbel. They are the 3 stars of the show, or rather, I should say some of them being 5 stars, as that is, of course, their team.
Yeah, well, you could almost call them the Three Musketeers. Remember, the Three Musketeers had 4 at the end of it. So we do have Dalmaze, we have Taron, we have Gobo, we have Grozniak, and we've got the rest of the field, of course. I'm not going to ignore them because look at this train. Jack Veazey, we just saw there, he's looking to try and get going. Grozniak is probably the closest to look for a move this time by. And you've got to feel all these drivers are basically doing the same lap time. That is how impressive this is. Can you imagine trying to do this? It is very tough to just hold on, hold your fire, hold your horses. They keep on going. No moves this time. Everyone keeping it nice, calm, collected. 4 minutes left. They started lap 12. They're going to definitely do 2 more laps after this. Now is the time. We may see some people try to make some crazy moves. Koba really trying to make some moves. That is Wanshi Lee up ahead that he's not getting to. Felix Gano, though, he's definitely going to get it. A real good recovery drive there for Koba.
Yeah, it's as good as he really could wish for at this stage. Obviously, he would like to be in this battle for the lead with Dalmasis and Taron, but right now he's down in 9th position after the controversial contact in the first corner. Looking up ahead, though, he could find the back of Yuan Jilin, and if he does, he might be back in contention for this lead. Keep that in mind. This is an 8-way fight right now, an 8-way train for the top. And as of right now, Jaime Dalmasis claims that, oh my goodness, that is Michael Chase has a great view of the number 11 car. That's Ewan Bremer getting alongside of Singleton, I think that was, and not quite making it stick, but a bit of a long, just scraps all over the field. Doesn't matter where you look. This is, again, the best knife fight in a phone booth and one of the best races I think we've seen in this World Championship.
Once again, Interlagos delivers when it needs. When you see Interlagos on any racing series, circle it. Watch it. You don't miss it, whether it's dry, whether it's wet, whether it's in the space, whether it's wherever you want it. And we go again. Penultimate lap is starting. The lead is side by side. Goble, not close enough. You've got Dalmaze is on the inside. You've got Taron on the outside. And I think there's enough overlap there for Taron to make this move stick. But I think he just had a moment there. A little bit of a recorrection through the corner. Lost that moment. He is now side by side through the cover. So this allows Goble to make a move, and he goes to that inside. He takes the slipstream. He gets the P2, and watch out behind as well. Grozniak is still there. This is the penultimate time down the Reto Oposta. Is there a free wide? I don't think they're going to see it because they are covering this move off. It's crazy to think that David Taron was actually leading as they cross the start-finish line. He's now in 4th.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And Nicholas Goble, he's the one in the lead right now with Jaime Dalmasis side by side, and he is not opposed to that. We've seen it for an entire lap of side-by-side action. Jaime Dalmasis isn't a stranger there. Nicholas Goble trying to get the advantage. He's taking bites out of the back bumper there like a bit of Swiss cheese. He doesn't get the move, though. Down in the wing mirror there, David Taron, he's just lumbering and posturing and telegraphing to try to say, I'm coming alongside at some point in time. I just don't really know when yet. And there's only one more lap to go. And I'm just going to be honest, Craig, whoever wins this race is the 8th wonder of the world.
Well, they are the 8th wonder of the world, and I'll tell you what, right now, they might need a towel. They're only going for 25 minutes around here, but can you imagine bumper to bumper for this long, for 25 minutes around Interlagos? It sounds like a dream to me, and we are watching every moment. We have the best seat in the house, but the best seat on the track are these drivers, and you now start to see as Barney will start to wave the white flag. David Taron will go to the inside, Nicholas Goble. There is Dalmaze. He's got a great view on the rear view mirror. He has to defend, though, in case there's a late send. Lost at the best braking opportunities to make this. Taron will retake P2. He's trying not to hit the back of Dalmaze. Goble will get the P3. Grozniak will be 4th. Jason Cooper will be 5. We do have a spin in the background. Wanshi Lee has gone around in the background. All that work is now unfortunately gone for him. There is the man in China, but on the Repeto Oposta to the lead. Is there going to be one more moment? I don't think there is. They're bumping and bumping.
No, Jaime Dalmasis like water off a duck. He seems to have secured it, but David Taron still knocking at the door, making his presence very loudly known. Global, though, he is the one that has the question marks in terms of what exactly is he going to do. Down into the final few corners, through the middle sector, through the Laranya, and into 9 and 10. This is an opportunity for VZ, and he's going to take it with both hands. Gets it stuck alongside Jack VZ up into 5th. Not yet, as still holding on is Jason Cooper. Side by side they go. Down to the final few corners. It's Jaime Dalmasis, everybody. It seems like he may have done it.
We may have done it, but never say never. Many races have been decided at Junção with just a mistake. And if you go too wide, you're going to go off the track with the opposite side camber there off the curb. Now we go. And he almost did do that. It's going to be a sprint. We're looking at all the positions here. We may have Jaime Dalmasis. He may have this victory, but the rest of the podium is not decided. Teron is trying to push this as hard as he can. Nicholas Goebel is going to be third. He's going to have to defend against Grozniak. The checker flag will come out, and it will be Jaime Dalmasis who takes the win. It will be David Teron, and even though with a late spread at the end, Grozniak could not get past Nicholas Goebel for third.
What a finish, and what a testament to this MX5 World Sim Series brought to you by Simify. My goodness, Jaime Dalmasis, everybody. What a race. Position change after position change. I think in terms of the most positions, not gained, but most positions changed, the front pack certainly had to have taken that. I mean, to be fair, we didn't get to watch the rest of the packs. You can see how close everybody is. I think this is just a true testament to show you Interlagos, one of the best racing circuits of all time.
Yeah, Michael Tangata would just finish off as well. I'm looking down the timing tower. I see dead heats almost with Lawrence Sebastian just missing out on Cali Cavisto. I see dead heats as well, almost Michael Tangata. We just saw that with Ronald Mood. Lawrence Dalhurin there just trying to make one last move and manages not to get past Rennie Zegler. They've had their battle again. 36 drivers came to the Interlagos, and it was a hell of a race out there. Dalmasis will be your victor out there today, and it's safe to say what a victory that is. His Spanish companion David Teron will take second, Nicholas Goebel will be third, and Aidan Grozniak will take fourth with Jason Cooper in fifth. Jack Vize trying to make those battles, he comes home in sixth. Dylan Da Costa will be seventh, and Ade Koba, what a recovery, up into eighth after that spin. Felix Chicago will be +8 for the day and night. Joe Singleton will be 10th.
Moving on to 11th here, Ewan Bremer up into 11th position. A great drive there from the number 11. Again, some say it's fate, some say it's a curse. I would say that's a pretty good result either way. Michael Chase takes home 12th with Alexander Longo in 13th. An unfortunate but still a very great drive there from Yuangji Lin, who takes home 14th position after an unfortunate spin in the first corner. Cali Cavisto takes home 15th with Lawrence Sebastian alongside in 16th. You can see less than a 10th separating those two. Pieter Goossens in 17th with Miles Owens in 18th. Matt Tempest in 19th, and rounding out the 20th is Eduardo Gross.
Well, we get to 21st, +11 on the day for Willem van Rysel, and then it's +2 for the day for Ronald Moons in 22nd. Michael Tangata, we just saw that, just missed out there. He gets 23rd. And then it is going to be Melvin Twin in 24th. Charles Kellyman will be 25th. Martin Smith will take that 26th, and then Rennie Zegler will be 27th. Lawrence de Olden takes 28th. Roberto Bruno, the home driver, only finishes 29th out there. Patrick Alders will finish in 30th, one lap down.
And moving on to the rest of the field here, we can see Tony Wallace in 31st, Tom West in 32nd, Paris Sandberg, unfortunately, down a lap in 33rd, Mackenzie Mann 34th, Matthew Camus in 35th, Peter Reed 36th, and last but not least, Albert Palahi.
Whoa, that was absolute crazy. What a lot of racing that was. That is what we see when it comes to MX5 racing. And I think we're just going to get down into what is known as the virtual paddock very shortly for some interviews. There is that start of the race. But here is the man that had the lead so many times, Nicholas Goebel, who finished third after all that. Nicholas, it's not an SCCA runoff victory like yesterday, but you've got to feel that was some very fun racing.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, was a very intense race, similar to yesterday. As you said, SCCA run was also very intense, but here different track. I think a bit smaller, and then yeah, we had a huge group together. Everyone exceptionally quick. Quali was so close. I think only Ade, he gave us a few tenths, but afterwards everyone was very close. And then yeah, in the end it was a very fun race, very close, very tactical in the end. We tried to get David in a good position for the run to the line, but yeah, unfortunately the draft just wasn't strong enough. Jaume had a very, very good exit and run to the line. Basically nothing changed afterwards, but yeah, it was fun.
It was very fun, and we know there was that unfortunate moment with Ade earlier in the middle of the race there, which did send him down to the back of the field. It felt like the process of the drivers today was just make the overtakes on certain corners. It felt that all the drivers, is this true or not? Is this with your game plan? Just wait for those overtaking corners, because some of those tight braking corners, not many drivers were taking risks. They were waiting for the first corner. They were waiting for turn 4 to make those moves. Did it feel like that was the game plan, was to just stay together and wait for the slipstream?
Yeah, we tried a bit in practice, and we saw that going side by side with the very narrow sections, I think I also did with Ade or Jaume during the race, it's possible. So in the end you just lose a lot of time in the whole infield section, and making these passes quickly, and not exposing yourself to getting overtaken by someone else or getting thrown off the line, and then having a worse exit. That's something that is crucial for making an overtake here. So you want to make it quick, you want to lose as little time as possible, because there's a whole pack behind you that's just waiting for you to make a mistake and be slow out of the corner.
Yeah, you've got to be making sure you don't make those mistakes out there, and you've had, knock on wood, a near mistake-free season. I'm pretty sure this is your ticket punched for the grand final at Laguna Seca. What is going to be your preparation for that race? Because it is a free track for those that don't have it and want to do it on iRacing. It's a free track. That is something that I think a lot of these drivers will do. How are you going to be preparing for that grand final next month?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest. We're not practicing too much for the events, because luckily the MX5, it's a slow car, so once you know how to drive it, you can adapt quite quickly. But I think for Laguna we will try to see what the slipstream will be like. I think it's a lot smaller than all the tracks we usually run in the regular season here in the World Sim Series, and we got to test that out to make sure that we can position ourselves well for the very end of the race and for the World Final then.
Yeah, and remember, you've got to be in it to win it, and that's what you did today. You were there at the front all race, waiting for the opportunity, and it just didn't pan out for you, finishing in third. But a third is good enough, Nicholas. And before we let you go tonight, it would be only fair to let you have any shout-outs that you would like for the end of the race.
Yeah, thanks. So I would just want to thank everyone at 5-Star. I think we're a group of people who are not really affiliated to real life racing, but we enjoy iRacing so much. And like to spend our time together racing these fun little cars, and we're having a good time. We're a group of very nice people and have a lot of fun in the voice chat. So yeah, thanks to everyone. Also thanks to you guys. The broadcasts have been amazing the whole season, and looking forward to the final. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Nicholas. Congratulations today on the P3, and we look forward to seeing you on the broadcast for the final, which is next month. That is Nicholas Goebel to be the interview, and I think that might be all she wrote today. Just a final thought. It's just final thought. It's going to be a very fun final, and I'd like to give a shout out, of course, to Simify. As we said already, I did say earlier, do check out the link under the broadcast to get money off all your sim racing products. And next time you need a boost over the competition, don't forget Simify and check out their centers in Barcelona and Madrid. That will do it, of course, today. Thank you to Mike, Daniel, and Dougie. Don't forget to check out our social media, our website, the merchandise stores that were there. And Jake always tells to everyone, check out Jew Lalonde's Bandcamp there as well. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You do not want to miss another moment here with a list of all our broadcasts coming up this following week. I did say that grand final, December 22nd, that promises to be a fantastic final after what you saw today. But that will do it for the evening. So until next time, I wish you all a safe night and race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.
Yeah.